What is going on, family? Welcome back to DXB Crypto. Hope you're doing well. And I hope you smash the like because a lot of you have been making good money with me on the Sui blockchain. And Base is going to come as well. All right. We've already done that in Tau. And of course, yeah, we are down on certain plays, but it's been a fantastic week for us. So if you're in Cetus, Lofi, Scallop, or any of the ecosystem, yeah, give me a like because I deserve it, man. Don't be stingy. Anyway, let's get into today's video, guys. And I have some big news for you, which is concerning the market and the direction. All right. So the market at the moment is very juicy. However, we're starting to see some altcoins moving. And of course, the market's still pretty much stagnant now. Not stagnant really, but yesterday we looked at alts versus BTC. Okay, and what we want to do is have a look at some of the big market movements today. Now, in this particular list, I will bring out the rejection that we had. And again, you know, the possibilities were always very simple, very well laid out, and that was always there for you to make an informed decision. And what happened subsequently, I have not touched this since yesterday's video, of course. And what you're seeing here is the ultimate support and resistance as clear as daylight. So resistance here at this 96,000 level, rejection, and we come back. Now, this is obviously the higher time frame. Now let's go down to the daily time frame. Boom. Now, what you're seeing here, again, is a completely different picture, but nevertheless similar in terms of how we go about breaking this resistance. What I would say, though, with enough volume, let's go to let's just go simple volume, right? So, yeah, so what you're seeing here, guys, is clearly Bitcoin right now faces that resistance at $96,000. And we just want to see, you know, even if we go to the lower time frames, you actually see the rejection there a lot more clearer. All right. Rejected, attempted, rejected, attempted, actually went into it. And then, of course, we printed a bearish candle there. So we may well fall back. But despair not, because if we do fall back, we do have other levels of support in this move, notably this region of $86,000, or even if we take it from here, you could see from 88, really, we have a solid level of support. So that is the BTC picture right now. All right. Now, that kind of leads me to something else. I wanted to update you on the sentiment of, for example, coins like Kaspa. Kaspa does have a resistance at 10 cents, of course, and then resistance at 13 cents, and then resistance at 17 cents. Now, of course, Kaspa bulls are targeting a higher price up. Ultimately, the target here is 14 cents. But really, when you consider the levels of resistance, the strongest resistance here is at this level between kind of key resistance at 10 cents. And then after that, it gets a little bit lighter. But of course, if you remember last year how Kaspa rallied up, it was quite phenomenal on its move towards the upside. So hopefully that key resistance at 10 cents can be broken. I still do believe this is a generational coin, as well as Sui. Now, the good thing about Sui is we have printed, and I have actually posted the take profit alerts to the community, because we are up on Scallop. We are up. Guys, you're missing all of that for $10 a month. Really, I mean, it's the best community that I've ever seen, and we have a lot of people putting in some good work, and I will not take credit for everything, but I do love the fact that I sit there and I'm able to focus on research. We've got Pete and the guys on the charts, and then of course we've got, you know, the rest of my brothers on the on the actual dynamics. So it's a group that's designed to win. If you would have taken, all right, if you would have got in with us in the last 7 days or last month with Scallop, you would have made some ridiculous amount of money, right? From $6 million all the way up to $14 million. not bad at all. If you were with us with Cetus protocol, you would have got in at these lows, right? Average price of like 7, 8, and you would have ridden that all the way to this high level of 20, I think it was 24 in the end. It peaked at 23, 22, sorry. So yeah, that is also very important because I am the biggest fan you'll ever see on the Sui ecosystem. And again, when I told people that this is going to be a Solana type of situation, that's pure because I know the fact that the whales act in a certain way and they flow money accordingly. So while your shitcoin waits in the car park, waiting for its turn, you know, the whales are actually rotated into the large layer ones. Doesn't mean that our small micro cap coins will not perform, but it just takes a lot of time for money to get down there. So you've got to be patient. However, on the positive side, small caps offer you the best gains. They are the least liquid and the highest risk. All right. So not everybody can afford to jump into Sui at $11 billion, but you know, the team has actually, you know, myself, you know, I found gems within the ecosystem and it continues. You know, we've made so much money on Lofi the Yeti, right? Lofi the Yeti has printed us so much money over the last, you know, going from like 7 million to 40 million in the space of a week. And if you actually see the move, it's still very, very low compared to where it's going to be, right? So we've been buying, if you flip this to market cap, I've been telling the team to load this at about $6 million and nobody had any belief. And all of a sudden in the last 1 month, if you see this monumental, absolute, you know, crazy ride. I mean, think about it, you know. So yeah, most people are negative in the market because they just don't have the mindset to be able to make money. And I guess that's the problem. But for the vast majority, things are going well, especially if you can afford to let go of your biases, or if you are able to deploy new money into the market and treat your losers like, okay, you know what, F it, you know, let liquidity find this, and then trade your big winners and get into something new as well. Don't be stuck in the past, because the past may not always return. Now, if you look at the evolution of Bitenso Town Network, inspired by Bitcoin, this is very important. It was created in 2021, and this is going to be the future of all of AI in the blockchain. All right. So from the, you know, if you look at the evolution here, it has the, you know, crazy amount of potential, and the monthly chart reflects that as well. So again, minimum this will be $1,000. I think maximum this cycle, this could top up at around 2.5 to 3.5K. Come back for the bear market below $100. And honestly, the second leg will start like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum type of run into the next cycle. So just always remember the ecosystem here is absolutely fantastic. Now, interestingly, I have been bidding on Sturdy Finance, and all you have to do is buy Sturdy and hold it. Once you hold Sturdy, you could potentially get an airdrop. Now, Sturdy Finance is, of course, a project led by Barry Silbert. Everybody saw Barry Silbert's interview with Raoul Pal. That's why they're all interested in Bitenso. But this is the real play. This is going to be AI-driven, decentralized AI-driven platform for liquidity. So if you think of all the big layer ones have this, but this one's going to be pretty much AI-driven. Now, it's already got SoftBank, Pantera Capital, KuCoin Ventures, and the likes. And what you need is basically having to jump into these types of opportunities super early. And at DXB Crypto, we bring you that. You know, we bring you that. Yeah, they may not always go right, as we know, but when they do go right, you do get generational coins here, and no biases. You know, if something is shit and I'm holding it, I would call it shit. If something is gonna do really well, then of course I will tell you that this subnet 10, you know, Sturdy's decentralized AI engine built on Tau has allocated over 250 million in use of funds. It's currently, of course, the borrowing yields are optimized on Sturdy, but its architecture and adaptable onto strategies across DeFi and beyond. So it's a small market cap at 16 million. I mean, could we see $1 billion for this? I wouldn't put it past it, because of course this is going to be driven by AI. Now, this This is something called DeFi AI. And of course, this is flow speed. You know, you've got a sturdy subnet 10 intelligence. This aggregator offers some of the highest yields in the market. And as the bull market and money printing becomes more evident, I think yield farming and blending and borrowing, it always is the case in the bull market. So yeah, do not ignore SturdyFi. It is literally, it has a crazy backing by Barry Silbert, you know, DCG, Tensor Tower is, you know, backed by DCG. So yeah, they take that with a massive amount of excitement. Again, not financial advice, do your own research, because it's also always important for people to understand what they're buying rather than just buying anything that is recommended to them. Okay, so that's the Tower upgrade. We've done the Kaspa upgrade. We looked at the chart again. These are some of the ecosystem, you know, 19, you know, Targon, ComputeNet, you know, Dataverse, DePi replay or whatever it is. So these are all subnet shoots. These are all subnets within the Tau ecosystem. Completely undervalued. I think you should check it out. All right. So what else is in the news? I came across a project by the name of Fluid. Now, Fluid is, again, a DeFi project. Fluid has been skyrocketing in terms of TVL. And this all of a sudden has an incredible amount of TVL. So $800 million market cap. $169 million market cap, but an $800 million influx of TVL and stable coins. Why is that? You know, you've got to ask yourself why that is. And more often than not, if it's to do with just pure money flow, then you need to start looking at why something like this will do well. But ultimately, guys, I have very good news for you, and that is the bottoming of the biggest second biggest crypto in the world. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the ultimate good news here. All right. So let's actually look at this on the weekly, because you'd understand on the weekly where we have been and what we've been going through. Okay. So, you know, indicators or drawings aside, if you look at this, you can clearly see that ETH versus BTC has pretty much bottomed. Now, to illustrate that to you, what I will do is to put a, you know, there's a wick there. I mean, could we go a little bit more? This is not the case, in my opinion. I think, you know, according to many analysts, this is pretty much more or less the bottom for ETH, this cycle versus BTC. Now, because there's going to be a big reversal, I believe that the next good trade is definitely going to be Ethereum, without any shadow of a doubt. And we can actually look at the USDT pair. So if we go to ETH and we look at ETH versus USDT over here on the weekly. Now let's look at this on the daily. And again, you know, that was the buy signal I gave at 1500 there. But clearly you can see that ETH has to liquidate, I believe, something like, yeah, let's just highlight this level. There is 1 billion of shorts to be liquidated at this very level here. So what do you think is going to happen? Knowing to this black line here, what do you think is going to happen? ETH's going to have a massive short squeeze, and people are going to get effed. So I do believe the next plausible target for ETH is a 15% move from the current level. And if we go down to the lower time frames, like the 4 hour, you can actually see, of course, there is resistance here. You know, there's clear resistance over there. That's fine. But the ultimate target for ETH is to go and smash that level. And then beyond that, just move beyond $1,600, $2,600. So ETH is about to rocket, guys. Sui is just cooled down a little bit. All right. Like we said, Sui has to fall back a little bit. But, you know, we've got this level here at around $3. You know, just about $3.30 should be your next possible scoop level. But no one's buying Sui at these prices, but everybody's interested at the Sui ecosystem. All right. So anyway, I hope you liked the update. Completely impartial. I don't care if you buy a project or not. All I know is my crew and I have been cooking anything from Fartcoin to Cetus to Lofi to Scallop, and we do have some very good attention and eyes on the base chain. So if you want to win with us, like I said, link is in the description. It's friggin' $9 a month. It's criminal that people don't actually do anything when it comes to something as cheap as that, because the group is legendary. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're holding. Again, we'll do gaming videos. We will do other videos as well. Sorry, it's a bit of a long one, but I do believe you deserve a weekend update now, depending on the direction of Bitcoin. Of course, the market will move. At the end of the day, you know, we are here for the long term, and I do believe irrational money will come. But if you took my profit alert in the last couple of days, then you should be chilling, just waiting for prices to pull back a little bit, and then ultimately Bitcoin to make a new all-time high, and then of course raise the question: selling may or go away. Anyway, guys, let me know your comments. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and God bless you. I'll see you on the next one. ETH to the moon.